How are you, Mr. John John? I don't know if you want to do a cams on or cams off event, my man. I mean, generally do cams on events, so I just figured that it'd be a cam on kind of moment.
I'm your biggest fan.
Hey, what's up, Al?
Nothing.
John, I'm totally... Sorry?
No, I just played some Red Dragon Inn. We didn't play D&D, but we played Red Dragon Inn. Very fun game.
Oh yeah, I think I played that with John one time, right? That's the card deck building game, right?
It's the card get shit faced or put someone out game.
I was muted the whole time. I was muted. There you guys go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel, to the live chat, to the celebration. Make sure the audio is good. Let me know if audio's too loud, not loud enough. You folks let me know in the comments, okay? And yeah, Red Dragon Inn is great. That was that game that we did play, Tricky.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was solid.
Made me want to play it in person with a few drinks.
Yeah.
It's gonna get dangerous real fast.
I mean, I am in the area, so you know.
So those of you that are joining us, we are celebrating the fact that we have 5,000 members in our Discord server. From humble beginnings, I have Ellie and Tricky Taco, part of the admin team in here. Those of you folks that would like to join us and say a few things. Let me see if my son... Did he raise this thing up? Wait, nope. There we go. Let me know if you guys want to join in on the chat. Just hop into the... let's see, which channel should we...
Well, it's admin's channel currently. I don't know if we can just drag people in here. I think it's best to keep it somewhat restricted, you know?
Yeah. Let's get people in the Arasaka cafeteria if you want to be on the show, if you want to come on and say a few things. And let me know if you guys can hear me, right? Let me know if you guys can hear me now. You should be able to.
Our Arasaka cafeteria is archived. There is the general audio chat under social, though.
Sorry about that. General audio chat. That's where we're going to do it. Where is that?
Social, and then it's the one audio chat.
Gotcha. We got two folks in there.
Passed it.
Okay. So yeah, just make sure you're in the audio chat, the general audio chat, and then let me know in the chat if you would like to hop in, and I will invite you in, and don't get me banned.
So, John, I can't. Is your cam on for YouTube?
Yeah, it should be. I'm in the bottom left corner on my screen.
Okay. Here, I should log into your stream just to see what it looks like.
What
Yeah.
is up?
Hey, David.
Hey.
Yo.
Hello.
Buddy, how are you? It's good to see you.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, man. Doing well. David, one of the founders of the Discord.
Yeah,
Great
baby.
to have you here.
I still
Absolute
remember-
king.
I remember that first chat in, I think it was the RTAL Discord. We were like, hey, you doing stuff, I'm doing stuff. Let's do stuff together.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's exactly what it was. Those many years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And man, I'm so
And
glad
then-
I did.
And then Luke factors
Oh,
in
yeah,
there somehow.
Yeah, see, Luke he had good intentions, and that's why everything is still good. Even though he's kind of away from the Cyberpunk scene, his intentions were always good from day one.
Yeah, that's good.
He's good human. all
Yeah.
around.
So
Cool.
our community is nothing without you folks out there watching, you in the chat, you in the Discord. We want to, as part of the admin team, I'm sure we all feel the same way. We really appreciate all of you, all of your support. And throughout these years, how many years has it been now? Jesus Christ, I don't even know.
Wasn't it 2019? Let's see.
Holy cow.
That sounds
dude.
right.
August 31st, 2019.
Wow.
Wow, that's solid.
4 years.
It's been quite the ride, and just echoing what you said, man. Like just everybody being cool, being chill, being good chooms. It's been magical the whole time.
It really has, and this whiteboard thing is really taking off right now. I'm loving this thing. Like, we got some beautiful artwork here. We're so lucky to have so many cool artists in our community as well.
I just clutched Silverhand there with the like gray dash for the stick figure arm there. Solid.
Yeah. I love how there's like an artistic corner and then the other one's just like, fuck Arasaka.
Yeah.
We have an Irish corner. That's that's
shout
pretty
out.
blessed.
Shout out to Ireland.
Yo, I don't know why, but the other day I went on like a Cyberpunk like Ireland lore binge, and it was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's one of those things I just haven't personally explored is the whole Euro end of Cyberpunk. Euro source.
I explored it quite a bit because I did a Euro campaign at one point. So yeah, Ireland and the Cyberpunk lore kind of maintained its like biological integrity, but as such, it kind of became like a vacation spot for corpos who wanted to experience the last unspoiled part of nature. So yeah.
All right, we got our first issue on the banner here. Somebody painted everything green.
I think I just did that.
Hit Control Z, see what happens.
Yeah, let's see. That should hopefully work.
Let's see here.
All right.
Delete layer. There we go. We're good.
There we go.
God.
Yeah, I was trying to. That was a little oopsie daisy.
It happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of zooming in. Someone in chat told me to zoom in.
I like how chat is unperturbed. It will continue on.
Yeah.
Even though things are green, we're continuing to paint and draw together.
Oh, I love that. Put a heart here for Rocker Boys. Yeah. We got a little crab there. That's nice. I don't know why I can't really like go around the canvas as well as I want to. I have to like mouse wheel to like navigate.
Yeah, there's not like a click and grab.
Yeah, as far as I know. If you guys know of any such thing, let me know.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys want to join in on our voice chat, there is an audio channel in our Discord. Currently, there are 4 folks in there. We got King of Roses, Turbo, Wade Monster, and Guy with a Mic. If you hop into that audio chat and you want to come on and say a few things, then let us know in chat, and I'll drag you in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You can use the arrows. There we go. Here we go. Let's see if that works.
Can we talk for a second about how Discord is making the news in like not the greatest ways right now?
Oh man, I'm ignorant on that.
Oh, all the crazy like spy documents that were leaked.
I saw about.
Right?
I saw that.
Just some dude trying to get some clout amongst his friends, and like he's going away for a long time now.
A long time. I figured it out, guys.
Wait, what?
I got the hand thing. We're good.
So what? Like Discord was passing stuff to the DOJ or something, or what?
No.
It's a 21-year-old kid, and he works at the DOJ, and he was trying to win an argument against his friends online on Discord. So he shared a bunch of government secrets about Ukraine with his buddies, thinking that like 2 of his friends saw it, and then the whole world saw it. And yeah,
I swear, I thought that story comes right out of like a Cyberpunk, like just some dudes in some like just some like hacker room, like, no man, I got the goods, and then he's getting shamed by his friends, like, no, I'm posting it right now, you can't stop me, and then like NetWatch shows up, right? I mean, like, it's just it's so real, and so like you could just see
the real
a mile away.
cyberpunk part of that, it would be to like have to work for that guy's dad, and he's like, you gotta get
Yes.
my son out of custody and on a plane, and I'm gonna extradite him out of the US.
Yeah, we got to get him to one of the rafts out in the Pacific.
Yeah.
It's happened like a half dozen times already with like War Thunder, right? Where people who work for the military and play War Thunder have been like leaking like classified documents to win arguments in forums,
What?
about the latest like fighter designs and stuff and ships. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's
yeah,
wild.
I mean, clearly your favorite vehicle can be unbalanced. True story. It's not allowed to.
It can happen, right?
Yeah, it's honestly a bit ridiculous considering, because obviously it's not Discord that's the problem here. If they had done it, they would have done it through like Skype or the old Razer comms before that was discontinued or something.
They would have done it on like AIM chat if they could, like just some like group chat on IRC. It would have gone.
Yeah. Internet points mean so much to us nowadays.
Yeah.
Internet points.
I'm loving these doodles, like the doodles with the guitar coming in and the like visor chick next to him.
It's actually like really good. I mean, I didn't realize how amazing the artists are. I mean, I did, but I didn't realize how many amazing artists we had.
Yeah, this is a big selection. As a side note, I did not write that I'm a nerd there, but I can see you deleting that. I'm watching you, Ren.
That's what a nerd would say.
He's one of my players, and he's also on the server, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So the crab punks are my group as well. That's my kids.
Oh.
Shaker Central, yeah. That's the Discord server name. Thug Shaker Central.
Thug Shaker Central. Oh yeah, that's the Discord guy.
Oh yeah.
The 21-year-old kid. That's right.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Oh man, actually, one of the biggest surprises for me with this Discord is how much people love other hobbies and how much we actually talk about the other hobbies in our Discord too.
Yeah,
there's like a small section, other tabletop content and Warhammer and stuff. We get into fun little exchanges there.
Yeah,
very true.
It's a solid scene for sure.
Especially like model painters and even like people who 3D print their own models. There's actually a surprising amount of them, I think, both for in the BattleTech channel and also the 40K one with the more custom bits and bobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, just generally all the war games are really good. I'm really like I dip into the AI chat rooms quite a bit, like the AI art and that scene, because like I don't know, I'm really taken with like having thought about how AI would impact a cyberpunk world for so many years, and then like actually seeing it play out is very different, but also equally like fascinating and dreadful at the same time, like with ChatGPT being what it is and the journey and all these things. Like I'm really taken by some of the discussions that happen and like some of the art you see in that channel. I just really love it.
Yeah, for sure. There's also, there's of course a little controversy with it as well.
Sure.
It's one of those things that it's like coming, it's happening, and we don't know how to feel about it because we're in awe of it, but we also fear it.
Yeah. I think the discussion we had as admins about it was very thorough and, a lot of different opinions. I know our announcements always, are unity, but we had a lot of discussion leading up to that,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, there is no totalitarian rule with this Discord, and I think that's why it's worked so well for all these years, is because I don't make any decisions on my own. There's some no-brainer stuff, of course,
Sure, yeah.
But when it comes to big decisions like that, we always vote on it. We always talk about it as a group because we really care about doing the right thing with the community. and it shows with all these cool people there.
No, yeah, for sure. Without the community, this Discord isn't anything. I mean, yeah, just the amount of incredible content we get from the Discord, the amount of great advice that gets shared and ideas. I don't know anything like it.
Yeah, David, remember when we were gonna go through all the extra content in the Discord, but then we got so overwhelmed with how much extra content there was.
That was early days too. That was I think that was in the first 9 months or 12 months or something like that. Oh, let's do some community streams. If y'all look back deep into John's channel, you'll see twice we went on and did a Discord community stream. And we were like, oh man, look at all this amazing art. We could go through it. And then you start to scroll through it and it's there's just no way I could pick.
Yeah.
There's so many.
There's so
much good in here. To even pick 10 would be a disservice to the other 150 that were incredible.
Yeah, exactly. And it just kept coming, and it's top quality stuff and so helpful. Everybody's so helpful too in the Discord. That's what it really warms my heart when I see people helping other people in the Discord, and that's really what it was all about. I don't know how many of you guys have nightmare stories of getting into a hobby and just the worst person got you into the hobby, or introduced you to it. It happens a lot with Warhammer, especially. You play one tryhard that just stomps you to the dirt, and you're a brand new player. You're like, okay, well, this game sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hope they feel good.
Yeah, well, that's the only power they'll ever have in their life is,
shit,
taking advantage of someone like that.
Well, thankfully, I started my... What's up?
I was saying, just looking at the chat, really enjoying being part of this community. Was it
Nicholas Smooth Handle?
Yeah, Smooth Handle there.
Or is it Smoot Handle?
Smooth Handle, yeah. smooth and Le. How about smooth and Le? I think one of the things that really has helped this community is your approach to organizing admins. There's a lot of discussion that happens whenever there's a post. If anything goes to announcement channels, it's not just a Cyberpunk update, but we're making an announcement, we're declaring something. A lot of discussion went into that. There was a lot of care that goes into the way that the Discord was organized so that this place is safe and fun for everybody to be in this space together. And that's just, you can't get that in a lot of Discords. And I think that the growth and the health of this community is unparalleled, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I didn't start as an admin either. I was a Chumba for at least a good year, John's, something like that.
Yeah, you were.
I started just as a Cyberpunk GM, back before we had the core rulebook or anything. We just had the Jumpstart kit, and I just wanted to flesh out the world and stuff. And so I was just talking to people on here, learning how to run the game right, And I don't know, I just spent a lot of time on here. And I remember one day I was in a coffee shop, and John, you shot me a message hey, do you want to be on the admin team? And I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah. And we're so grateful that you joined. And we were so grateful when Ellie joined too. I think we approached you, Ellie, a while ago, and you're like, oh, I don't know, that's not my thing. And then we were like, oh God, we gotta have Ellie.
Yeah. I got the offer from Azala, and then I basically told him, hey, maybe if you found someone else, if you can't find anyone else, I'll do it. And then no one else could be found. An attempt was made, but I basically serve as a glorified customer service chatbot now, which works out. Not a lot of work after all.
Dude, anybody who's interacted with you will know that we are so lucky to have you in the Discord.
Yeah, seriously, you do so much of the moderation work. It's not even funny. It's amazing.
I mean,
good job.
I mean, you say that, but this people here generally don't do bad stuff. So it's not like there's a lot of work to begin with. God knows how that works in a 5K Discord server. You'd think there'd be more trouble, but there really isn't.
I know, man. Isn't that wild? I thought we would have way more drama and trouble, but I guess we have a little bit of a fair share, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly,
What is
not
it?
as much would be expected.
Yeah.
We've done such a like. I want to say that like on the admin side, being here from the beginning, there have been a handful of people that you're like, we watched and was like, oh, this is going to take us in a weird way, right? Like there have been some personalities that like clearly were not going to be healthy for the community, and I think that like being strong enough to say that like, we want to make sure that the place is safe is really like one of the things that made this place so good and continues to make it so good, so that like people join, it's really welcoming, and they don't have this like they don't have to like suffer somebody who's being like really toxic on their first day coming into the Discord, like
Yeah.
we've all been there in channels. Yeah, we've all been in communities that have like, oh, we have this like one guy who's just like really super toxic, but we tolerate him because of whatever reasons. Like, nah, dude, and none of that here.
Yeah, no, none of that. None of that. You play your way, play the way that you'd like, have fun with it. No stupid questions. That's how it should be. We got Nicholas Smoothhandle saying some GMs are really good with new players, some are really good with telling in-depth lore-filled stories. One is often at the expense of the other. Few GMs are excellent at that balance. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And what do your players bring to the table, right? Like, not everybody is responsible for lore, on some level.
Yeah, there's a social
Pretty
contract.
much.
Yeah, we got together. There's a social contract that we care about this. We're here to have fun, and not at the expense of the other people. In conjunction with the other people.
Yep, that's why a good session 0 is absolutely essential. So I kind of delineate the boundaries of that contract. You say, this is what I expect from you as a player. This is what I'm going to give you as a GM in return.
Mm-hmm. I'm loving this car at the bottom of the thing.
Isn't
I
it
want
so
more vehicle
cool, dude?
art.
Oh,
Dude, the detail on that is solid.
It's so good, man. This artwork is beautiful, dude.
Oh my god! One of my players has sketched his OC in there. That's so cool.
Yeah, and we had to get an Among Us in there. Shout out! It's in the zeitgeist of our world, dude. Every cyber has its punk. John Cyberpunk. I love that. Oh man, that's so cool. Volta Alta says the fact the place was so welcoming after finding it from John's vids is entirely the reason I got into Red, and am now making a game that'll knock the socks off my players. That's music to my ears right there.
Hell yeah.
Yep. It's what the Discord is supposed to be designed to do. I mean, I don't know. I spent a lot of time, organizing a lot of the channels to try to make it more intuitive for new people, to be able to jump in and be welcome.
I remember the first time you went through and cleaned things up. That was really, really helpful.
Oh my god. Yeah, you were like, hey, I'm going to organize all the channels. I'm like, yes, please.
Please.
I went a little overboard at times, and I think I've reined it back into something reasonable. That seems to be working, so...
Yeah, it became a collaborative effort that worked out, but it was your initiation of it that we needed.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Cool artwork. So do you guys have any horror stories of getting into the hobby and maybe being a little bit disillusioned before you had one really good experience?
Like specifically Cyberpunk or tabletops in general?
No, anything, anything. I feel like once you have one good tabletop gaming experience, like, oh, this can be done with other stuff as well,
Yeah, so my very first tabletop game was with a guy who's amazing, right? He was just kind of looking for players, and it turned out that I had, he's like, oh, bring along whatever friends you want to, we're going to have a classic Pathfinder game. I'm like, okay, that's great. So it turns out that 10 of my friends wanted to play, right? And so
Whoa.
we had 10 players and one GM, and even the best GM will struggle with 10 players. So we had like 2 sessions and it just kind of fell apart because, players had, the scale, right, of power, of narrative power was way too much in the player's favor at that point. So yeah, me and that GM ended up going to a different group that I stayed with for years. So besides that, I've had a pretty good time with tabletops.
That's pretty good, man. I mean, that's not too bad of an experience. Everybody just wanted to have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hard to work with it logistically.
Yeah,
that's a massive amount of players to try it with for the first time. Like you guys can't have had too much to do each with so many people, though. That's
You wait like an hour to take your turn, and then I swing my sword twice, and then I roll a bunch of dice, and then I wait another 30 minutes to get to do it again.
The true meaning to a party. It really is a party.
Yeah.
My buds and we would get together, and we would game for like 12 and 14-hour sessions. And that was some of the best gaming I ever did. But what we would do is we had a bunch of players, and we'd like show up, bring snacks, and like somebody would cook, and other people were in charge of like taking care of like people's drinks and stuff like that. And we were all just having fun. But there was a table where you rolled dice. And so if you were like doing something mechanical or like in a fight, you all went over to the dice table. But generally speaking, people were like breaking off and like making side deals and like calling the GM over whenever they needed something.
What?
And so, yeah, it was this wild. We played for the longest time. We played it in Pathfinder, and then we switched the campaign to Traveler. But it was this really wild experience where there was like a communal room where everybody was at whenever we were doing stuff as a group. And that was generally a wait long time to take your turn thing. But when you weren't in that mode, there was a lot of like side role playing happening. And like, I've never been able to replicate it. It's like one of the most special setups and experiences I've had as a gamer. Yeah.
So you guys were in character role playing with each other, but there was no, just for the sake of role playing and being there.
I mean,
you were like LARPing.
We were sort of, yeah. We were like scheming. There was a lot of scheming going on.
Gotcha.
And then like there'd clearly be like dice rolling and stuff like that. So.
Okay.
But it was still like people were breaking off into groups a lot, and it was just a really wild experience. And so the GM wasn't so much a game master, like running us moment to moment. He was more like a referee, kind of like getting called over whenever he needed to like make something happen.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So in 2020, the term for GM was pretty solidly a referee, and I think the reason for that is because it kind of had this very hardcore edge of like, you're probably going to die in this game, so it's not my fault. I'm just the referee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
gotta
very
play
much
the
that.
dice.
Well, and they cribbed that from Traveler.
Really?
The Traveler role playing game was the first role playing game to have what is it? The backstory mechanic.
Life
path.
The life
is
path.
Is the first one to have a life path, but their life path was like it impacted the mechanics of your character and stuff. Is really wild. And they had referees. And Pondsmith credited that. He was like, I really love those mechanics, but I wanted to reinvent them here in my game, and like I much prefer the Cyberpunk life path system. Like he did a solid job with that.
In the Traveler RPG, you can die at character creation doing the life path.
Not anymore. Not anymore. It's an optional role. Second edition.
I mean, you can't die, but you can get crushing medical debt.
Yeah, you can get fucked up real big.
It's so realistic.
Yeah.
I think in terms of like horror stories, I don't really have any per se. I think in general, but now it's been a while since I've run like one shots with people from the server who want to try the game and stuff. It's been a while since I've had time for it. But at one time, I was running a game, and there were people who couldn't make it in the end. So I pulled some randoms in from like a couple of different servers and stuff. And my God, that session was not. That was like the first session as a GM where I did not have a good game, and I felt like, dude, like half of them aren't engaging. It got a bit better as we played, but one of them was totally not into it, and I basically had 1.5 players who were interested in it, and then 1.5 who weren't really. So that was the first time I tried GMing where I didn't feel like it was good, but I guess it happens to the best of us.
When the players aren't engaged, like that could feel real terrible as a GM. It's like, why are you even doing this if nobody's like giving you their attention?
The first red flag should be that they were available at short notice like that.
Oh yeah, no, I was just like riding out and like pulling on everything. So, but it happens. But so at least in general, though, people for one shots from the server are usually pretty sweet about it.
Suitcaper for vet your randoms. Vet your randoms.
Vet your randoms.
100%.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience playing with random people because when I first got into Cyberpunk, I opened it to anybody. I was like, I have some like earlier actual plays with folks that I played with that I've never talked to ever since. Like they just disappeared, but they're on my YouTube channel there. Some of them were great. Most of them were great, actually. There wasn't any bad experiences that I can remember. But I did have one horror story. It's a little bit of a long one. But if I'll indulge you guys if you would like to know.
Yes, please. I have a horror story of my own creation afterwards.
Okay.
I finally remember.
If you don't mind.
So this is the early 2000s, like maybe 2007, 2008. I just got into Cyberpunk 2020. I got into Cyberpunk tabletop role-playing games in general. My friend just got me into it. He's like, D&D is for pussies. This is a better game. And I was like, okay, I don't know. So, which by the way, it's not. D&D is awesome. So, But anyway, he was like, this is what Cyberpunk is. We played it. It was a one-on-one session for a year and a half. We had like a one-on-one campaign where he was the GM and I was a player. And of course, I decided, hey man, we should probably look for other people, right? And this is getting fun, but it's just me and you. Let's get some other folks. And he's like, I don't know any other folks. And this is the pre-Discord days. I wish I had our Discord. You know what I mean? So I had to look on a website called Craigslist.
No way.
Can you guess why this story goes poorly? For those of you that looking at me like I'm a boomer, Craigslist was like what's similar? OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, but like way less restricted, like no moderation. It was a Wild West, all right? Yeah. Someone will be like, I have a fridge, come and pick it up. You don't know if you're going to lose a kidney. You don't know what's going to happen. So I put it out there. We're going to play a game. I'm going to be the game master. It's my first time being a game master. And I got two people that wanted to play. One guy was like, hey, me and my wife will play. You can come to my house. I'll host. And another guy was like, hey, I would love to play too. This is awesome, right? So far, so good, right? We have a place. We have a group. Well, we get there, and I love cats, but this guy had a lot of cats. All right? A lot of cats. He had like 10 cats that we could see. And you guys know how cats are. If you can see, there's cats that don't want to be seen. So that's fine. I love cats, but this guy didn't clean up after the cats. When you have that many cats, there's stuff that happens with the cats. They're all over the place. So that was the first red flag. But I decided
an infestation.
It was an infestation. Long story short, this guy, all he wanted to do was host my game, sabotage my game, so that we would play his game. That's all he wanted to do. So we were playing a game called Rifts, and you can make anything you want in Rift. It's a crazy ass fucking game.
Jesus.
Yeah, you can make whatever you want. So
Yeah.
he's like, he's like, I can make anything. And I said, yeah, you can make anything. I want you to have fun. Make whatever character you want. He says, I'm gonna be an elder dragon.
God.
And I'm like, all right, man.
There's so many classes in that game that can just destroy the world, and that's definitely one of them.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm gonna be an elder dragon, and I'm like, okay, I guess, you know, I'm a brand new game master, right? So I don't know anything. I don't know like the possibilities of what can happen. And then his wife says, I want to be a were tiger, you know, something cat related. So I said, sure, that's fine. So we start the game. He's sabotaging everything. He's like fighting with every NPC. He's terrorizing the town as a dragon. And I'm like, dude, I can't even get a word in. This guy's like, I eat the city constable. I attack the barmaid. I'm a dragon. I can do whatever I want. And totally ruined our game. Then he just like hits me up and says, hey man, look, why don't we try D&D? Come over to my house and we'll try D&D. And I'm like, all right, fine. We'll try your game next time. I don't know why I didn't just run away after that. But we come back and he's reading from a book and not role-playing, not being a narrator. He's just reading from a book. And I'm like,
okay. He's running a module?
He's running a module.
He did? Oh, boy.
Yeah, he's running a module. And I said, okay, can we make whatever character we want? He said, no, one of you has to be a paladin. One of you has to be a thief. And you all have to be good guys. Period.
Oh boy.
Like you can't do anything else. And I'm like, okay. And the scenario starts with some guy coming into the tavern and going, I have a treasure map. And I'm like, so I guess we have to, you know, say indulge this guy, right? And he's like, yeah, you have to indulge this guy. Like, okay. So, you know, it was a terrible situation. We didn't have any fun. And I told him next time we'll play my game. And he said, fine. But I went home that day and my eyes started itching. And I'm like, oh man, what's going on with my eye? And then my other eye started itching. And then I look in the mirror and I have full-blown pink eye, both eyes.
No.
Yeah, full-blown pink eye. This is my first time ever having pink eye.
So gross.
Full-blown double
nasty.
pink eye. Thinking about all the cat feces that are in my eyes at the time. And I'm just like, all right, man, that's it. And I called it. That was my first gaming experience with other people.
That's insane. And somehow you continued playing tabletop games.
Yeah, you know, isn't that crazy? I really have a love for it.
It's wild.
I remember
All right, first.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No. I just want to say hi to you, J6.
No worries. How's it going, Tricky?
Hey, buddy, how's it going, man?
Doing all right. What's going on?
Oh, this is the pink eye story.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember when you said that you had the video and you were telling Arnov about that. Oh, what was that? 2, 3
Yeah,
years
Arnog
ago?
was the one that told me that this is a bad idea, John. You shouldn't be looking for games on Craigslist.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Based Arnob take.
yeah, I mean, he was right.
Oh, Jesus.
Man.
Yeah.
David, do you want to do your horror story now, or?
Oh,
should
sure.
I?
Yeah, I can rip through it real quick, and then I have to go set up technicals for a stream tonight.
Okay,
and then
go
I'll be
for it.
back. So this comes from when I was in high school. No, I was in college, GMing in college, and this was a Fallout game. So I had ripped the mechanics from like World of Darkness and put it into the Fallout universe. In retrospect, Cyberpunk would have been a better fit, but here we are anyways. We're playing World of Darkness rules set in Fallout. And it was the first time I had a PC die at the table, without the player really being cool with it. You know, like in Cyberpunk, I'd lost a couple of PCs in Cyberpunk, and everybody's cool with it because like 2020, it was super easy to lose a character, and everybody just got along with it, right? But in this game, he really wasn't cool with it, and like I just remember now. Like the setup was this specific character had killed some important NPCs to a faction. And then he logged in on their network at one of their facilities, which told one of their big bosses where he was at. So the big boss, she gets on her motorbike and goes out and hunts him. It's like, oh, this is gonna be great. She's gonna shoot at him a couple of times, and then they're gonna like run or fight her off or whatever. No, she shot him with her sniper rifle. He goes down because she scored well on damage, and then his friends didn't help him.
Wow.
And I was like, oh,
What?
well, you know, she's going to take a second to see what you guys do. And they're like, yeah, we're all going to take cover because she's really scary. And I was like, okay, your friend is bleeding. What are y'all going to do? And one of them's like, all right, I'm going to run out. I'm going to pick up our friend. I'm going to use him as a body shield.
Oh,
And then
no.
run back to cover.
Oh, no.
Friends as a GM in this situation, what would you do? I shot him. Because like he is being used as a body shield. I look back on that. I learned a lot in that moment of one, you got to check in with player, right? Because that one decision really unraveled the whole game. Because then he didn't feel like playing anymore. A couple of his friends didn't feel like playing anymore, and it really killed the game. And I should have set the expectation early on that hey, gloves are coming off. Lethal damage, your characters could die based on your actions. And I also should have checked in and like, hey, is it okay if your character dies? Because he could have told me no, and I could have done something else, but I didn't because I had never been in that situation before, and I was like, yeah, it'll be great. She shoots him again, and he dies. Isn't that cool? And it was not cool. It was definitely not cool. So I've learned a lot as a GM from that moment, and I tell that story to, let you all learn from my bad decisions in the past when I was flippant with my player character's mortality.
Yeah. No, I totally get you. That actually leads pretty well into my story because I guess my story is about checking in with players, and because there are fates worse than death for players, and that is going against their character concept. Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, or changing their character's direction without them signing off on it. So I'm going to tell you the story of this character right here, around the middle left here, Chimera. If you're seeing her, the one with the mask, yeah.
I'll zoom in.
Do you see her on the?
Shit.
Yeah, Chimera right there. Okay, so Chimera was part of a group of edge runners that disrupted an arms.
I'll erase. I'll fix that. I don't know how that happened.
What's that?
Magic. It's all turned black.
Yeah, somebody just colored the whole
Somebody
thing.
did the fill.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. All right. So
there we go.
What happened with Chimera is her group of edge runners went and disrupted an arms deal between Federated Arms and the Iron Sights. Okay? But they weren't very quiet, and the Iron Sights figured out that her group was behind it. So as retribution, they took Chimera and they basically turned her into a cyborg without her consent and put her on the verge of cyber psychosis. Right?
Oh, wow.
And the player that was playing Chimera did an incredible job of kind of having his character's world fall apart in front of him and just role-played it super, super well. But the table was almost like traumatized by it, It was like, oh my god, this is like a new character almost. Like this character whose whole thing was like, loving superheroes and kind of almost having like an Iron Man type of outlook on life, like inventor, like idolizing superheroes, now turning into like this dark, edgy character that's like a near cyborg, It was a lot, but now that character lives rent-free in all of our heads. It serves as a great example of, checking in with your players on not only tone, but also what you're allowed to do to them as retribution when they mess up. Is it death? Is it... What is it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
That's...
Yeah, and then later in the campaign, they stole some crabs, so we have crab punks forever. So, yeah.
I see that. That's crab punks forever. With a little cyber crab hand.
Indeed.
Oh, man.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, and the group, still plays. Actually, the player that was the who played Chimera, is now the GM of the group, and he's amazing. So.
Oh, nice.
Shout out GM appreciation out there.
Shout out to his username on here is Santa Tristan. So Santa Tristan. So
there you go. Folks in chat, thank you so much for everybody that's here and celebrating with us. Thank you for being a part of the community. I see Infinite Sided Dice over there. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And if anybody in chat wants to hop in and say a few things, this is for you as well. This is a celebration of you guys. So if you want to hop into our chat and say something, just let me know in the chat what your username is on the Discord. I'll drag you in and you can say a few words as well. All right? Don't be shy.
Yeah.
I can read some of the chat because Gatsu just said the first time I was DMing, we were playing D&D 5e homebrew set in the Elder Scrolls universe, and they were doing some dungeon crawling, killing everything, and I didn't want to make them bored, so we have got to get the end of that story. Vogie is also asking a question. I have a question that I ask my players before crazy decisions or some dice rolls. Do you really, really like your character? Or if you want to keep your character, you better think of something smart. So I think that's more in relation to like checking in with your players. That's what I'm going to assume.
Yeah, checking in with your players is really important. Really important.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely a part of being a game master, and it's not always just about writing stories. It's also about understanding everybody's dynamic at the table and how everybody wants to have fun and finding a middle ground with each other.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Like,
And
when I was reading, remembering your wise guys and how everybody just flowed along, from Jackie, who is like this crazy privileged Filipino that Brian handled exceptionally well, to the revenge story of what was his character, the revenge story, to the solo. Remember the 2020 campaign? It's been a while, but it was such a gripping tale, especially how you brought everybody in, and you say that you brought everybody in from just the sentence, that you had their backstories being used, and each one told a mini tale that continued to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the challenge of it, because you're like, okay, we have this life path. It's telling me exactly what these characters care about. So I know what I have to plug into my story to get the players to be interested in it. You know what I mean?
right.
In one of my recent campaigns, one of my players, his father, he's estranged from his father. He doesn't know where he is. And they're just hanging out at a cantina, getting into a fist fight with a group of boosters. And they look over to the right and they see cops dragging in this guy's dad in handcuffs, taking him into the police station. So immediately he was like, pause everything that we're doing. I just saw my dad. We got to go there.
Nice.
And it just led into like all these other things that we started doing. But I'm like, I'm just going to show him that and then let him decide what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to probably have to pick up that one.
Yeah, Infinite Sided Dice says, but let's not forget, GMs don't kill characters. Mike Pondsmith kills characters.
That's right. Oh, it's not our fault. It's his fault.
Yeah. He takes all the blame.
Multi-Week has a story he'd apparently like to tell. Should I just drag and drop into the voice chat?
What were you saying, Eleanor?
Yeah, sorry.
Right, yeah. Multi-Week apparently has a GM horror story he'd like to tell.
Should there we go. Okay. Let's
sure.
Pull you in there, Malch.
Let's see if this works. Yeah. No, never mind.
He needs to join the audio chat down in social.
Yeah, join the audio chat channel in the social tab. There's a little audio chat That's open to the public. Join into that, and then we can drag you into the admin chat.
I thought people were in there earlier.
There were, yeah.
Oh, there were.
Right here, folks. John Giles says, the best channel I found for Cyberpunk anything. Thank you from a new wannabe GM. Your homebrewing session zero tips have been so helpful. So happy to help you, John. And you're not a wannabe, you are a GM. As soon as you decide that you want to be one, you become one. It's that easy. So you're not a wannabe, you're the real deal. Gatsu says, I bumped the number of enemies a little, like added 2 or 3 or more. Is that part of something else? Oh no.
Yeah, that was part of what I had talked about earlier. The first time I was DMing, and he's talking about that. Then he had the ... at the end.
Gotcha.
Now he's saying he bumped up the enemies a little, added some more skeletons
to make the fight a little more challenging, and then the dice decided to make the players miss every attack, which resulted in their deaths. Yep. Yeah, you know, that can happen. That can happen. You just want to tune the encounter to make sure that it's challenging, because I've been running into that actually. A lot of my players in my campaign now, they're so powerful that they're just like, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a challenge, and then they swat them away. They swat everybody away. And I'm like, all right, what do I do? I don't know what to do, man.
One of the things that I think...
Welcome to the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I dragged Malchwick in now.
What's up, man? Welcome.
Hey, welcome.
This is a dream come true. How you guys doing? John, big fan, dude.
Hey, big fan of you. Thanks for being a part of the community.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so I started gaming in Cyberpunk right around the time you did, and Seth Gorkowski did as well in the early 90s. Introduced to it right after gaming in D&D, and so I was fascinated by it. I loved the game. And, you know, so time passed by and kind of get off gaming for a while, and then, you know, intermittently dabbled. But then during the pandemic, I decided, well, why don't I just start up doing Cyberpunk again? I hadn't DM'd it before, or GM'd it rather.
Yeah.
But the GM that had introduced me to Cyberpunk wanted to play as well. And I was like, well, come on in, man, for sure.
Uh-oh.
I'm learning the rules barely, so you already know where this is going. He had every single book, every single Chromebook, every single little thing.
He did martial arts. He took 2 cyber legs, and he did 10d6 damage on ignoring half armor.
Yeah, not only that, he took a very famous sniper rifle that people just don't allow in their 2020 games anymore. I forgot the name of it, but I think you guys know which one it is. I think it's a revolver type sniper rifle. One of the Chromebooks.
I don't even remember which one it was, but look, dude, if your GM is making a character and that character has cyber legs and they have spiked feet, that is a guaranteed murder machine. With the way that the rules, the way that the old damage mechanics worked, like a kick would double the damage and spikes would add more, and then because it was a cyber leg, it did more. And like by the end of it, you're just like kicking people in half.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
So I in good faith, I'm like, yeah, man, whatever you want. He's like, really? You'll let me take this? Like, yeah. I just really want him to be in my game. I want to impress him.
Yeah.
I've done Dungeons and Dragons before, and I'm like, I can do this. I can do Cyberpunk. And then the whole story was that one of the player characters was my brother, and so he wanted to play a rocker boy, and so he did. And so the thing is, like, we're all friends, and so like, it would be really cool if I like started this thing where there's a dossier or a hit out on him, and I'll have my GM friend who's a solo kind of get hit up, and it's like, yeah, I need this guy dead. It's a dossier, so it'll be kind of like a cat and mouse, where I was hoping to like kind of then bring them together, sort of like in a Heat style fashion. I had to plan it out. It was going to be great.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, you're planning out how they can join together.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I was playing the long game, but my GM took that personally.
So good.
Oh,
he said, I really don't want to hunt down your brother. I love your brother. Like I just want to play together as a group. It's like, yeah, no, but give me a chance. Like it's like, all right, but he gave you that one of those like, all right, sort of like, watch what I can do to you.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
And so it turns out, so it was this whole thing where the Rocker Boy had just played a concert. He's getting into the limo, and he had already perched up on a hotel, line of sight, shot the gas tank, ended the adventure right there.
Oh man.
Done.
Yep.
And I was just
Yeah,
like,
man. That's what's gonna happen.
I got little boyed by him, and I learned an important lesson. Whenever someone tells you who knows much more about the game, and they say, "Hey, can I take this?" Research your shit.
Yeah, you gotta know your players. You gotta
Look.
know if you got a min maxer buddy, then you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Look,
lesson more learned.
I will say this right now for anybody who's new to Cyberpunk and you're worried about getting like just totally steamrolled by another GM who has never gotten to play. Look, cash is how characters advance.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get some skill points here and there and all that kind of stuff, but it's about the money that they get for the cybernetic enhancements and for the guns that like really amps up their power curve.
Yeah.
So if as a GM, if you all listen to these stories, if you're like worried about this stuff, just give them like gutter punk starting place. Like the whole group has like 2,000 eddies to their name. That way they can't as a group like get too crazy. Now you might give them expensive loot and they could power curve on you. But like those if you really milk it, that starting character can be real rough if they have enough cash. And like it can ruin a game for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Cash
I feel
is
that.
opportunity. That's what it is, and you're giving them more opportunities by giving them enough cash. So that's awesome. Did we want to get King of Roses in here?
King, welcome to the chat. You're in. Hey,
I've been here for like a minute.
Awesome.
I dragged you in.
Well, Maltrovic,
Hey.
thank you so much for your story. Thank you for being a part of the community.
For sure, yeah. Just wanted to say one more thing right before I leave. I appreciate you guys taking the time. Adding on to what you guys just said, Cyberpunk Red is really good about keeping your players honest with the whole scarcity of resources thing. So, really appreciate the game. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. You guys have a great rest of your night.
Thank you for
All right,
supporting.
have a
Thank
good
you for
night,
being
Maltrovic.
part of the community. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
All right.
King of Roses, one of our resident artists here on the Discord. You're looking at some of the art that they've made. Thank you so much. Seriously, thank you so much for bringing your beautiful artwork to our server. We're really so lucky to have you.
No problem, and thank you for having me. It's been really nice seeing all the feedback I get. Everyone else's art. I really like it a lot. Yeah, and this is just it's a really good server for not even just Cyberpunk stuff, but I can post other art and I don't get too much shit for it. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, we would never want to, tell you what you can and can't draw.
yeah, I've actually been working on some like I'm tried one shot of Deadlands and it didn't go very well. So I'm working on this whole homebrew system where it's Cyberpunk combined with Deadlands. It's gonna be crazy.
Hell yeah.
There is Haunted West that Artel Sorian has, but I don't have any knowledge of it.
Yeah,
Can you guys enlighten me on what Deadlands is?
Oh man.
It's good.
So
Yeah, it's like basically you are in the Wild Wild West. You can use cards and die rolls as part of combat and initiative and everything else. But it's like a 52 card deck, and they had a 20th anniversary, and I'm shaking my fist because I can't find it. But not without it being $200. But they have more that's coming. That is Savage Worlds PEG, and it's just you want a totally interesting history. You want combat. You want to have shamans and zombies and all of these other things to fight in a Wild West setting. That is Deadlands.
Well, yeah, you could totally run a setting in like Texas. I have like my own homebrew Texas setting. I'm sure that we can say there's like certain cities that have collapsed and have rebuilt as like old Western style towns.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, I have planned for the second arc of my current campaign. The players might go to this town that's in like the middle of Monument Valley, which is like this beautiful like natural park. It's in the middle of a desert. And there's like this western town built inside of one of the mesas, the flat topped plateaus. And it's got like an evil sheriff and stuff like that. I can't wait till they get to that. It's gonna be great.
That's awesome. I love that. Have you guys seen that one Clint Eastwood movie where what is it? He goes to a town and like kills all the bandits there. I know that's like every Clint Eastwood. Right?
Yeah, that's a lot of them.
There's one, it's where he comes into town and it says "Welcome to Hell" instead of the town's name.
That's the final showdown, right? Where something.
Well, suppose it's kind of a supernatural story because his character is introduced in like the haze, you know, the haze of the desert. Like he comes in, nobody knows who he is, and he just comes in and kills all the bad guys and then disappears and leaves. And it's like supposedly said that like maybe he's the ghost of that town.
I think it's
High
called
Plains
High
Drifter?
Plains Drifter.
High Plains Drifter, yeah. Infinite Side Dice just said it in chat. High Plains Drifter is really awesome. That aesthetic, you could totally run a whole campaign like that. I love that. Fistful of dollars.
You can have nomads, you can have tech, you can have one med tech. There's a corporate executive that owns the bar and the saloon.
Yeah.
I mean, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
I think it'd be really funny to have like a corporation that specializes in making Old West saloons. Like on frontier towns, that'd be amazing.
That would be pretty cool.
It could
I
be
was
like
thinking,
Westwood.
Yeah.
You could make it a brain dance, and then it could be just like Westwood, where it's just like you are you could possibly do a virtual reality that also mixes reality with it. So
I'm bringing some cyberpunk in here. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Somebody, Connor Fleming saying in chat, quote, that gave me a chuckle from a player in the last session I ran. Quote, I'm really enjoying Red a lot, but worrying why role-playing not being able to afford rent is fun.
Oh man. Currently in the Ascension, which is David's game, that was happening in one season, and here's what was happening. We had a net runner and a media that every morning they would steal lettuce and food for themselves. The lettuce was for the turtle. That turtle is like a godsend and is the gift that keeps on giving. Oh my god.
That's awesome.
Paris with the media. Oh my god. I have not laughed so hard while I was making clips for High Shelf Gaming. Oh, David. Oh, welcome back, David.
Hey guys, sorry, my headphones died. Yeah, that was my Gutterpunk game, and that was the first session. I was like, all right, you guys are, you're hungry. What do you go? You have no money. What do you do to get food? Because you're hungry right now. And that was a lot of fun watching everybody figure out creative ways to get fed. Role-playing desperation can be a lot of fun, as long as everybody knows that's what they're getting into.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
just what Connor Fleming is saying about the about the player who's worrying about why is this fun, but it is. It's a lot of fun.
I think part of the fun is, unlike real life, you're like, in real life, if you don't have a job, you're like, will I get another job? I don't know. Is everything gonna be okay? I'm worried. But in Cyberpunk, you're like, I'm alive. I got my pistol, and I got my know-how. I'll make some money in this town.
I may be broke, but I got a gun.
Yeah, exactly. And other people have money, and I can use this gun to get their money.
Yeah.
Oh, for the Gutterpunk, they didn't even have guns. They had to make improvised shields and everything for a while.
Oh yeah.
Until it
Oh yeah.
just magically dropped into a net. That was all the weapons that they needed for a
Look,
while.
that was okay. I'm really proud of that. That's the oh man, we have this huge windfall. Look at all this great loot we just found. Oh God, look at all the problems this loot came with.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yep. And to all of you out there looking to run a Gutter Punk game, now all the new options in Black Chrome Plus for the like junk ammo and the slam fire guns totally are there for that.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
crying
Hell yeah.
because
Oh, Lasercat has the coolest premise. They're doing a Cyberpunk game tonight, and they're going to be in the middle of infiltrating a skyship. Which I gotta say, like, there's not enough campaigns in Cyberpunk about like the skyships or about the space station or about the cities in the Pacific, the like floating cities.
Yeah.
I love going to those places. That's such a cool premise.
There's just so much to explore in Night City itself that
True.
you can do it for 20 years, which is what a lot of people have been doing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
More money, more problems, Malchevik. Yeah. Amen to that, dude. It's funny, in my recent campaign, the Under the Crimson Sky, the players somehow, some way got an APC. Okay, they rolled really well. It happened.
Yes.
It was not in my plans at all for them to get an APC. But
why would you ever think I'm gonna give them an APC?
Yeah, like I literally was like, okay, I'm gonna roll to see what kind of security vehicles these people have. So I roll, and it's a low number. So it said there's only one. I'm like, okay, they only have one security vehicle. What's the quality of it? 10. So I'm like, okay, they have one security vehicle. It's an APC, right? That's what it's gonna be, with a crazy gun on it. So I'm like, how are the players gonna get that thing? You know what I mean? Like, what are they gonna do? It's there. It doesn't mean that they have it. But of course, they made it their mission to have it. Priority 1, exactly. Dustin in chat. They're like, we're gonna get that APC, and it's gonna be our APC. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm yes-anding. I'm letting them have the APC. But then they realize, oh shit, now we have an APC, and everybody's looking at our APC. And it's like hard to hide an APC. Okay, it's loud. They know you're coming. People know you have it. People think maybe we can get it from them. And like pretty soon, the thing that they loved, they were arguing back and forth. Like, we got to get rid of this thing. Why would we get rid of this thing? No, we have to get rid of this thing. It was the best. And I let that happen out of my plans, and that's what came of it.
So good. That's so good, dude. Yeah, the oh man, we're so decked out. Isn't this great? And it's like, yeah, it's great. And there's a lot of people watching you. You've got like 3 different gangs following you throughout the city, just waiting for you to get out of that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was actually how I started my Cyberpunk campaign. I was supposed to be I was a GM in another server, and I didn't think about it. 2 people wanted to be pilots. I was supposed to I was supposed to have like 6. It eventually narrowed down to like 7 people. Don't ask me how the numbers work, but that's how the numbers work. But I was doing this whole thing. We were going to be trauma team. We were going to sit here and we were going to explore the building and everything. And in the back of my mind, I just totally forgot. We did the life path and everything. I totally forgot that I had 2 pilots. I'm building this thing. 2 or 3 weeks are going by. It's now game night. I'm building everything inside the building. What's the first thing that my player characters are going to do? We want to go flying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I have nothing to do. And it is like, throw out all my plans and try to figure out how to
they went off the rails completely into the sky.
Into the sky. So 2 or 3 weeks of playing back by the seat of your pants, GMing, they were starting to do a conspiracy in the trauma team that had them going to explore this apartment, that had them going to try to capture this techie that was about to shoot down their plane, that got a bomb put on it. It was just fly by the seat of my pants that I could actually sit here and do that kind of GMing. But
See,
Yeah, quite literally
that
flying in that case.
that kind of like wild.
Okay, I do have to go, guys, because my Chumbas are here, taking me off to the land of D&D and so on. So, gotta go.
Bye.
have fun,
Night,
Tricky.
Tricky.
All right, have a great stream.
Take care.
Bye.
J6, your story there about your PCs just taking you completely off of the rails and in like crazy land effectively. Like that's the reason why I find it was so hard to like plot out or plan Cyberpunk games so much, because like there's so many different options the players could take if I yes and especially in the beginning, if I say yes to a lot of things, it is really hard to plan when the players first start tossing in some ideas. It can be wild, but you gotta hold on and see where they go with it.
Oh yeah.
I think I kind of beat the system because my current campaign is more structured around not really like a core story. I mean, there's a main mission sort of thing, but most of the driving points for the narrative is actually the NPCs, the interactions between, and so I focus that on the writing. And yeah, they kind of go their own way, and it's kind of a sandbox thing, but you can kind of direct them around because they want to go talk to this character, and that character's related to this, and that character's related to the main plot. So I just built like this big net of related things that's been working out really well.
Yeah. Honestly, for David, I spend a lot of time on High Shelf Collective, but one of the things that I kind of did was I would look at the older episodes, and then I would start to sit here and say, okay, we have this NPC here, this NPC here, and then begin to sit here and have it so that they kind of have relationships. So that way, because what was happening with David, he was doing a red what's it called? Red Marsh
Red Market?
type game. Red Red
West Marsh.
Yeah, like a West Marsh game.
West March game.
Mm-hmm.
That was where he started after the 2020 campaign. The
Oh
red,
yeah. That was
red
a
asphalt.
big game for sure.
The red asphalt would take say 4 players, and then they see what was happening, and from that I began to sit here and dialogue which NPCs were doing what, and try to sit here and say, okay, what is the world building that needs to happen here so that if we go back to here, they can kind of sit here and have a backstory and everything else. So it really helps if you know your NPCs have their own little story sometimes, and then you can sit here and push them, and that influences what the player characters are doing.
Shout out to Guy Sklanders. I had him on my show. He actually has a whole system for NPCs called OGAS: occupation, goal, attitude, and stakes. Those are his 4 things that determine an NPC. Occupation, what do they do? Goal, what is their current goal right now? You know, they might be a shopkeeper. Their current goal is just to get through the day. Or their current goal might be to get an unsuspecting person to come in and completely cheat them. Attitude, are they mean? Are they curmudgeon-y? Are they cool, laid back, aloof? And then stakes, what do they have to lose? The shopkeeper has a shop to lose, their reputation to lose, or maybe they have a special item in their store that they don't want anyone taking, you know?
Yeah.
And just with just with those, you'll be able to like determine everything with that NPC.
I have got that means I have.
Yeah, I like keeping it pretty simple when I first meet an NPC, something like that. Like I know 2 or 3 different things, and then if the players keep engaging with an NPC, then kind of the more they invest in that NPC, the more I'll invest in fleshing them out and adding more to it. You know, because I've had too many NPCs that I've spent, a good chunk of time on, and then they don't like the cut of that NPC's jib, and before I know it, they're a pool of meat on the floor, and all that work.
They get burned.
You see all the the character portrait I post. I spend hours on each one, and one of them I was doing a shorter campaign series, and I made this awesome fixer that would help them through crawling through a biotechnica facility. She explodes the first thing they encounter. I'm like, oh, okay.
Not using that one.
Well, that was great.
Yep.
Well, another thing is though, I make those portraits so that other people can use them with credit, and so I don't really mind that much in putting the hours into those. But sometimes it doesn't really go the way you thought it would.
Yeah, and we appreciate that, by the way. That's really awesome.
Yeah, anytime you want to use any of my portraits, you're welcome to do so. You can rename the character, give him a whole different personality, whatever, as long as you credit me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. That's really great of you. I appreciate that.
So have you guys been playing? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm gonna drag in John Giles.
Oh yeah.
Because he's been sitting and waiting a bit, and then he can say his spits
Did John
when it becomes relevant.
Did he say he wanted to hop on?
John? Oh yeah. He was in the voice chat, and I asked him if he wanted to. Hello, John.
Cool.
Oh, hey guys.
Hey, John. Welcome. Thank you so much.
No, thank you guys. I'm gonna turn the stream down because I've just been enjoying all these tips as a new GM or a new guy getting into this system. So thank you for your time.
Tell us about your experience. Yeah, welcome, and tell us about your experience and all that, because it's always great when you're just getting into a hobby.
Yeah, well, I've been in I've had the core rule book for probably a year or two now, and just reading it, trying to get the numbers through my head. I dabbled with Pathfinder with my buddy, probably a couple years ago, but I found all the different dice, all the numbers, all the spells, just how complex character building is, and that kind of felt like it held me back a bit. So when I found this and just started whipping out random characters, I was like, wow, I really enjoy the simplicity and speed of this system. And I haven't even played combat or anything yet.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Dude, I'll tell you, I started.
Yeah, so I have the 2020 right now. Oh, so sorry.
I was just gonna say I started in systems like this, and then when I found D&D later on, I was just so overwhelmed with spell selection and all the different little fiddly bits. So I completely hear you on that. It's a nice, smooth, simple system.
Yeah. I learned Paizo games are just not for me. And I understand if people love it. I played Starfinder. Yeah, it is Mathfinder, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, Connor's right. I'm watching the stream too. That's funny.
But I'm not opposed to complex games. I'd rather it not be complex, but I can't say shit because I play Warhammer 9th edition right now. And its biggest problem
that goes
right now,
right over my head.
Well, it's so complicated you can't get people into it. They literally have made the game so complicated that their biggest problem is people are saying, hey, I can't get my friends into the game. And there's a new edition.
I feel like that's
coming
probably
out,
was my issue too with Pathfinder is I'm not a super, I wouldn't say I'm a super academic guy, right? So, I did fine in school, but it's when it gets really mathy, it starts to get really intense. So I found just converting the whole system down to 2 dice, it just made it a whole lot easier to manage, just in general, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
How are you finding Cyberpunk?
How are you finding Cyberpunk?
So sorry?
Yeah, how are you finding Cyberpunk? What's your...
I'm really enjoying it. I've built some characters, some rocker boys and stuff, and I want to get my friends to play the Chase the Dragon campaign because it kind of seemed exciting and there's a lot of action in it, and it's a good main story or first story to start with. And I just came along your videos this week, John. So to be able to talk with you is an honor for sure, and to learn from you guys. Like your session 0 video, I literally today while just chilling at work wrote a campaign session 0 at work, just making stuff up, and it was really cool to just be like, yeah, like, for session 0, just have a game that's really short so people can just kind of understand it. Don't feel like you have to commit to this 5 or 10 game thing, right
yeah
away.
yeah that's by the way, thank you so much for the support. I'm so glad to be able to help you, man. Yeah, the session 0 of just coming in and relaxing, it gets people pumped for session 1. That's what session 0 is. It's introducing them to the world, introducing everybody to each other. Then you run a little scenario that's easy, easy to do. There's a MacGuffin. Go get the thing, go kill the guy, whatever, one of those things. And I've noticed that it brings the group together, and it also gives the game master an idea of how these guys like to play, or these people like to play.
Yeah, so it gives you an insight on how to maybe modify whatever campaign you're doing, whether it's from book or written, towards them more. And I kind of like that aspect too, is like it feels a little bit more role play than Pathfinder even. Like Pathfinder felt kind of more by the book, and it feels like you can be a little more homebrewy. And that's what really gave me a lot of confidence too with your videos, seeing that you can have homebrew rules, and you can find that balance in the game.
Yeah, it's so easy to do it with Cyberpunk too. Have you profiled your players in any way? Like, does one player like the combat more, the role play more? Have you profiled them in any way?
So think I'm kind of a balance. I like the number system. Like my brain can only handle so much, and my high school buddy is the numbers guy, so I know he's going to be right into combat and all the rolling and the whole shebang. And then my girlfriend's the opposite. She's the pure kind of role player. So I have kind of a nice, small group and a couple people that I feel like I could find definitely a balance for between the numbers and story. So I think I've got a nice healthy balance to start.
Oh yeah, that's so good, dude. I think that, like, as a GM who's picking up systems and trying new things, like Cyberpunk is really, I think, pretty easy. Like you say, like it's simple. The mechanics are pretty simple. I also found Cyberpunk to be really role play friendly because, like, combat can be pretty deadly, so maybe we negotiate first, right? Or like when combat starts to go a little south, maybe an NPC will jump in with a quick like, look, before you kill me, maybe I could just like pay you a bunch of money and we like work together or something like that. And it feels a lot more flexible in that way than what I see out of like fantasy games, which are usually like kick in the door and start blasting,
Well, that stuff is there if you have a
Yeah, I
solo.
was just about to say that, like, Pathfinder felt like that, where it was kind of like, oh yeah, you kick in the door and there's a bunch of goblins and that's what you're fighting. You walk up to them and smack them, and there you go. This feels like, oh well, I want to like roll through the door. Okay, well, do an acrobatics check for me, and then then your reflex check with your weapon or whatever for the shot. So it just feels cool how things interconnect that way. And I was just wondering,
honestly think a lot of that
for
just
a
comes
new
down to
player
GM.
or a new guy like myself who's never done this, like what kind of tips would you have? Maybe I know that's kind of vague, but like,
Yeah.
By the way, Zala, we got you in here. Thank you so much for joining us. Another amazing person in our admin team. What were you saying, Az?
I was saying, I think a lot of that comes down to GM. I mean, if you have goblins and all you do is run up and hit them, well, they're kind of dumb, but they're smart. They're smart enough to live and make a home and, form a team. They're smart enough to fight some idiot who's just going to charge in and hit them with a sword.
Yeah. Just turn.
Yeah, I guess that's up to you as a GM to make it more interesting. Eh?
No, if instead of having just regular goblins, you can make them Tucker's goblins, which are really mean goblins that will sit here and they can be level 1, but if you go through their lands they are going to sit here and give you a very bad day, no matter what level you are.
Yeah, they have their own motivations. They have their own goals. Yeah, there's a world going on apart from the players, and those goblins have their own society and culture and everything, and that has to be reflected in the way they behave as well.
John, you were asking for some advice as a new GM.
Yeah.
But one thing that I like to tell new GMs is kind of keep track of the number of NPCs in a fight. The number of NPCs versus your players has a really big role on the outcome of the fight. If you have fewer NPCs than your PCs have characters, you're probably going to get wiped out pretty quick just because of how many like shots everybody gets to take in a round. Just the way that the action economy works. Being outnumbered puts you at a pretty big disadvantage. So whenever you're putting together a fight, if you know that the gang has like 6 people they can throw at the PCs, well, if you want that fight to go real tough on the PCs, put all 6 on the table at first, right? Or if you want it to be like something that's going to be a little bit easier for them to manage, put like half of the gang on the table at a time, like as a first wave, second wave kind of thing. That's just something that like can surprise a GM who hasn't messed around with the combat system too much. Is if you outnumber people, even if they're outnumbered by like gonks, I mean, a gonk with a pistol can still shoot twice around just like a pro with a pistol, and just because of that alone, be aware of how many bad guys you have on the table at a time.
Yeah, so that totally makes sense. It's like a converted Yu-Gi-Oh saying it's the heart of the dice, as it were. You're still rolling for those NPCs and everything, right? So there is a chance that your PCs could end up missing all their shots. Like I forget who earlier said it in the chat, but that they quickly got overwhelmed and missed all their shots, and then the NPCs just blew them away. So I guess it is about finding that healthy balance, and in that regard too, I'll say too, John, your easy, medium, and elite, enemies was really helpful too, because with Chasing the Dragon, for example, I don't want to spoil too much if people haven't read it, but there's some pretty high rolls in that like early start to that campaign, and it's just nice to know that I can homebrew or modify those numbers if needed, depending on where the PCs are at, for example.
I'd also say don't be afraid to let your players shine in combat. And on the other hand, don't be afraid to stomp them into the mud if they get like over their heads.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
style
it's like
over
about
substance.
finding that balance, because you got to give your players a little incentive to keep going, right? That makes sense.
My tip for combat would actually be the best, from my experience, the players have the most fun in combat when the goal is not to just kill all the bad guys. If you give them some ulterior motive to do during the combat, it'll be more dynamic and more interesting.
Yeah, like earlier I was talking about my whole flight seat of the pants. To add to that, the first thing that they did was aerial combat, where they had the what's that, VTOL. They had the VTOL. They had a heavy machine gun. They were shooting some guys. But then later on, what I had them do was they had the land. They were investigating this apartment or complex. But what was happening was they were sitting here trying to infiltrate, number one, as well as they were trying to protect their pilot, and they didn't even know how many people were in the place. So it's like varied combat can really happen, which sits here and gives them different motivations, because they had 6 people there, and for the aerial combat there could only be one pilot and co-pilot that were making sure to do aerodynamic, because they had to watch out and avoid rocket launchers, whereas the heavy machine gunner is trying to sit here and nail these guys with heavy weapons and everything. Or when they were doing the landing, they had ground weapons. They didn't have that access to that, but they're trying to sit here and avoid a Borg that was in the place, along with all the mooks. They sat here and set off the alarms. They got caved in. The pilot and everybody got a bomb put onto the strapped onto the back of the VTOL because they missed a stealth check. The mook actually got a crit, so they got the bomb on the back of that, but there were still some consequences. So I was setting this up, and then all of a sudden, I had to close the campaign, but it was to be continued. But that was what I was setting up. So it's like,
what a cliffhanger!
Yeah,
that's wild, man. My advice to you, John, would be to not worry about having an answer to everything, because I think that was one of my biggest worries as a game master in the beginning. I was like, I had a D&D 5e campaign, and I wasn't really well versed in D&D lore, so I decided to make everything from scratch, Pantheon from scratch, an entire world building thing, and all that ended up doing was overloading my brain with way too much information, and I ended up just forgetting 90% of what I wrote, maybe even more, 95%. And
my favorite thing is to just have players come up with crap on the fly.
That's what that taught me. It taught me that, hey, instead of me fighting this thing of trying to remember everything, why don't I just let my players lead me to places, and then I can have thought experiments, and then let my players answer the questions. I throw obstacles at them. How do they get past it? Okay, maybe that'll inspire me on the next step. So it's good to have like an overarching, like, they got to go here, they got to kill this guy. How they get inside and how they kill that guy is out of your control completely. And you just got to be there just to say, yeah, you pass, yeah, you fail. That's it.
I'm very much of the lazy GM method of doing things. It's like even my last session of 2020, last night, I'm running a murder mystery where one of the players is getting pinned for the murder. And I have no idea who did it or how or any of that. We just figured out the how last night, just in the process of going through it. So
that's great.
That's funny.
And if I remember John's Wise Guys campaign, there was one time they were at a party. It was Jackie is her name?
Yeah.
The female. And they were taking 10 to 15 minutes just texting each other about how to get past these two guards until finally Jackie's female friend said, "What are you guys doing? Like, okay, we're going to sit here and get you guys past it. Go do what you got to do."
Yeah. yeah. That happens a lot. Your players get like paranoid, and they're like, okay, before we go and talk to this bouncer to get into the club, let's look at him. What tattoos does he have? What kind of face is he making? And I'm like, dude, I didn't write it. I don't even know what this guy looks like. He's just getting you in the club. You know what I mean? So now I have to answer questions. Like,
well, that's good to know, because
Go ahead, John.
No, go ahead, John.
Yeah, no, my apologies. My poor internet, I'm like a second delayed, right? So I do not mean to interrupt you,
no,
fine people. And thank you again. And congrats on the 5,000 members, by the way. Congrats. Amazing.
Thank you for being a part of it.
Well, thank you for having me. You know, like, that was my biggest worry too, is how much can I control it, you know, without feeling like they're on a, you know, like a Final Fantasy 13, like, just treadmill of, here's your line, you're going on it, right? Keep it open and flexible. Like, that's cool. I really like that tip, because that's my concern, being a musician by trade. I'm always like, all right, it's got to be perfect. I got to, like, analyze and overanalyze. And it's good to know I can just release and, you know, let them almost write it.
You're developing a skill, the skill of going along with it, and you get better with it. That's all it is.
Dude, I will say, like, just to add to this, the response from the bad guys or whatever, that can come later, right? Like they'll call you back, and between that session where you said, "Yep, I'm going to put a pin in this thread," and they're going to call you back, or they're going to respond to you guys in some way. You've got time to like work that out. You don't have to answer everything on the, you don't have to answer everything live. Like I love just saying, yeah, they hang up on you, right?
Yep.
And then the player's like, "Ah, shit." It's like, that gives me time to figure it all out, And then we come back later with some high octane action, So like, if you need a pause because there's some implications or whatever, have them leave, have them walk out of the room, have them hang up, have them whatever, just so you have as a GM, give yourself a window to work out what that faction's next step is going to be.
Yeah, that's great.
Either catch up on your notes or write some new ones or whatever to kind of fill in the blanks. That makes sense.
You guys are writing notes?
So much.
Well, yeah, gotta remember what I said.
Man, being a musician, I have everything noted. I have the whole Chasing Dragons PDF highlighted right now, like just waiting for this campaign to go.
Way to prep. That's good.
The pro gamer
I've got
have one player that takes really good notes, and whenever something happens, you're just like, "Hey, do you remember that?"
Yeah, and you give that player anything they want. All right.
Yes.
They're helping you.
I mean,
that's gonna be bad because I'm the GM. I'm gonna spoil myself apparently.
That's only a good thing.
Yeah.
Just give yourself great NPCs with Borgware, like just have fun.
There you go.
The one bit of advice I would give...
the Clash members in the Chasing Dragons, they're cyber psychos, I think. They're like teen cyber psychos. That's how I'm going to write them anyways. So it'll be a little fun.
Ellie, you were saying?
Yeah, the one advice I would give to a new GM though is that you're basically going to fuck up like 1,000,000 times, and your players are gonna fuck up 2,000,000 times.
Yeah.
Because there's more of them. You just gotta learn the system together as you fail your way through, and it's maybe also important to think about with all the online. Role-playing shows that are really good and great and fun to watch, but when you're like a new GM, you're not gonna do that. That's not what you're gonna do. So
you've got to find your own style.
Yeah,
it's really good to know that it's okay because
like don't focus too heavily on the rules. Like
on the what?
On the rules.
Oh, the rules. Okay.
Like, I know we have, like, a lot of conversations here about, like, well, is this raw? Is this how it should be? Is this how I have to run it? It's like, no, you don't have to run it that way. If it seems silly or doesn't make sense to you or just removes part of the fun from your game, just change it.
Yeah. Homebrew is an option.
And that's what really opened my eyes watching and watching John's videos this week, for like first time I ever seen it, and it was really cool that it's like you can just homebrew it if you really need. Just keep the game going, keep it fun. That's really at the end of the day what everyone's there at the table for, or the computer for. It's like y'all just want to have some fun together, and whether you win or lose,
Yeah, and there is a way where everybody at the table has fun, and then at the end of the day, you realize, like, oh my God, we're 6 people sitting in a room or sitting on a computer, hanging out with each other for 4 hours and having the time of our life. And you just want to keep chasing the good times, man.
Yeah. I mean, you can always walk into a bar.
Yeah, that high all the time because it's like, oh man, who knows what could happen next?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when you walk into a bar.
That sounds like a cinnamon bagel.
Yeah. Okay, I'll stop the joke, but I was gonna say walk into a bar with denim and dag cologne, but I digress.
Oh man, that's great.
My apologies, my internet delays me. I once again do not mean to interrupt. My apologies.
No, you're fine.
Worries.
My campaign notes are, each campaign that I have is one Google Doc, and it's like I just keep adding to it, so it's like pages and pages on
Hell
one doc.
yeah.
And that's my whole
That's
campaign.
how it's done. Woohoo.
I just have NPCs, and they're for me as well as the players, and that's all I have written down.
It's a madman's manifesto. It's not even like there's no system. There's like some of them are chapters, some of them are bullet points, some of them are ABC, some of them are 1, 2, 3. It's nuts.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do the rest of you GMs at the start of your session write out like a little intro to recap what happened last session and whatnot, or do you just wing it?
Wing it.
I
I
wing
used
it.
to. I used to try to. I even tried to get the other players into it, but it's like nobody just cared.
No, they're like, hey, I didn't. That's not my job. All right, don't make me do.
Like when I was playing at my local game store, we had 7 guys, and it was like 1 DM or 1 ref.
Yeah, that's
and rough. What he used to do was to sit here and say, okay, what do y'all remember from last time? And then we'll pick up from there. But he did keep a notebook. What I picked up from his habits way back when I was a techie and trying to sit here and survive in Night City all the way from India was try to sit here and make some notes. When I started doing it myself, I used to be a D&D. I used to have these big notebooks, journals of notes about the campaigns and the maps that I used to do on the 3.5 graph paper and everything. So it's a lot. It's so much cleaner when sometimes you just wing it and just like maybe write 1 or 2 sentences and
that's what ends up happening. You end up being that. But you know, it's good to do it as an exercise anyway, because it teaches you about yourself and your preparations. You know, I had to do all that kind of prep to realize that that's not my style.
Yeah, you had to go through it.
Yeah, go through it. Go a little bit of a struggle, you know.
I reward my players with 10 IP if they do a in-character write-up after a session, which is a little gimme for them, so they get a little bit of character advancement if they want it, not too much. And not every player does it, but some players did it religiously, and it really showed me what mattered to them in the last session that was ran. And so I knew like what to put more effort into, what to invest in, because they talk a lot about the flower shop, and the people in the flower shop is like, oh, okay, well, I guess I need to put some more intrigue there. If they completely gloss over something else, then I know that it really didn't connect for them. So that's one thing that I do, and I don't really do recaps when we sit down at the table. I kind of assume people remember stuff, and we just get going.
And
I set up player journals for all of my players, and so far in like a month of playtime, nobody has touched them at all.
Yeah. Well, dude, I have when I did the big asphalt campaign, the West Marches game, I have like a year's worth of player journals, and like these players are like writing out like their true identities, talking about like secret connections they have with other NPCs and stuff like that. Like there was so much intrigue in there. I was like really blown away. And I'm almost kind of sad that it's all locked away in like a legend keeper that nobody else gets to see, because there's just a ton of stuff in there.
I get that.
There's also the scream sheets, which
yes, your scream sheets are awesome, J6. They're so good, dude.
Well, the thing about the scream sheets was, okay, what do y'all want to have? What do y'all care about? What does the GM care about? And then make just a little blurb, hot, medium, cold, and then see where they want to go. And it was like that started and helped with like extra sorting of different things to sit here and figure out what was going on. I don't know if y'all can hear in the background, but that's the missus. So
yeah, I just hear you, but yeah, dude,
no stress.
Just a bit.
Really
no
good
issue.
At setting the stage for the next game. I really always appreciated your scream sheets before a session, like told the players, it like advanced some of the world, right? Like they went off and did some actions, and then the next time we sat down to play, the world has advanced, and that was a cool way to show that in the scream sheets. It was really clutch, dude.
Yeah, I wish I could do it more, and I just have not. I have not gotten back into the whole scream sheet media type deal, and it still frustrates me sometimes. But I'm trying with clips.
Oh, we
I'd
believe
start
in you.
doing that though, making my players do write-ups for bonus points. That's a good idea because they're my players are like itching between sessions. Like we got to do more, Matt. Where's more? Like, okay, hold on, I have a week to prepare next session.
Oh, that's good. I love that energy between sessions. King, you've got a good group on your hands.
Oh yeah, show them the scream sheet, and then if one of them is a media, say, hey, if you can make a scream sheet about what you want to compose, that's some extra. That's 10 XP.
That's a banger idea. I'll probably one of my players is a media. I'll probably do that.
See, and then that's how he sits here, and then you can actually do the whole composing. That's an event. Sit here and write. Who does this affect, and then who does he get as like an alternative media? You can make an alternative, and then he has a rival, and that makes the media so much more.
Yeah, and a rocker boy has to write a song about the previous campaign arc.
There you go.
Got it. I'll bust out my guitar and do that at the beginning of every session then.
Oh yeah, man. You're already a rocker boy, so just ease into it.
And then all of a sudden, one
yeah,
of the
that's what I
fans-
made my first character, and I figured I'd make a med tech as a second character, because if everybody wanted to play just shooty boys, you know, solos or cops or whatever, they can feel free to do it and don't have to take a healer role.
I mean, you don't need you don't need that, because if they make money, they can just hire someone in the city. You got cash, you don't need some gonk in the team to do it for you. I mean, it's cheaper, but still.
Or just be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Or they.
Yeah, and John's healing tips video was a good one too as well. I think I'm gonna steal some of your rules, because there's some really great homebrew rules. I'm really thankful I came across your stuff, man, and have the opportunity to meet you and your friends. Like just too cool. Like really honored.
Well,
and just remember, good GMs copy, great GMs steal.
Oh yeah, for sure. By the way, before we end this stream, I do think that we should be thanking our Telsorian Games themselves for being amazing allies, amazing creators of our favorite game, and the way they interact with the community is beautiful. It's just, we're so lucky to have such a great company that makes like such an amazing game, and it's our favorite game, and to have such a good relationship with them. So,
and Jay Gray specifically is like really deserving.
Shout out.
He's great.
Shout out. Yeah, big time. Love Jay. Without Jay, my channel would have never happened. He definitely let me promote it on the Artelsorian Discord, and that was the first place I ever promoted my channel, and I am where I am because of the generosity of Artelsorian Games.
I think we should also mention all the talented people doing the little doodles and stuff.
Oh yeah, we've been
to the doodles. By the way,
we've been hyping them up this whole stream. I mean, this is so beautiful. Seriously, I think we're gonna make a separate channel called, like, you know, Hall of Fame or Hall of Holy Artifacts, and just for this to be like sitting in its own channel by itself. You know what I mean?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, this is a perfect moment for.
It'd be funny to try to write a story off of one of these one day.
Because I'm a drag Pokey-N.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's get
Pokey
in here. John, do you mind if we kick you out a little bit?
Oh no, this is your audio zone, guys. Thank you for your time once again, and you know, for you guys being so generous, and you guys have a great night, and congrats again.
Thank you so much for the support.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a part of the community, for real.
Hi, Pokey.
And thank you to you and Telsorian Games and everybody here. Very amazing community.
Hi, Zala.
Hello,
Bye.
hello.
Take care, John.
And hello, Pokey.
Hi.
So yeah.
Hey, John. Thank you.
My
So yeah,
respects.
welcome. And your doodles look awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She was saying earlier she couldn't believe that they were being drawn live.
I did not know that. I was like, wait a minute.
Beautiful artwork, Pokey. Seriously, we're
Oh,
we're
yeah.
so lucky to have you in our community.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Just decided to
'cause
draw
I
my
wish-
characters that I've played or used.
Tell
in
us
the
about them.
campaign. Oh boy. So
Now
Blue
you're on the
Guy-
spot.
Blue Guy
We have
is-
exotic modifications.
Yeah, I like the cat girls and the dog boys.
Hey, we all love cats and dogs.
I even do the little danger girl thing down there because I didn't see it on the canvas, so I was like, well, you
It's
can't forget
beautiful.
the danger girls.
Yeah, oh, I called that out earlier. It's so good.
Thank you.
Cat
Yeah.
girl supremacy, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You'll
I'm
feel like
s-
that's a little bit of an art challenge right next to my amazing piece too. So
one?
Oh my god. John,
the
John,
smile,
you need
happy
to do
smiley next to the danger gals.
Love
Well,
the
danger cat
smiley.
girls. Yeah. So
We
I
need to
had a
do
reference.
a booster gang or a poser gang of like cat girl supremacy. And it's like a bunch of cat boys and cat girls that like own city block or something like that.
Nope,
love it.
you're a cat girl even if you're a boy.
Yeah,
Like
the little
that.
purple character I drew was my danger gal.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's so cool that we get to have that character in the lore too. That's the next supplement coming out, Danger Gal's Dossier,
I
and
know, I
she's
got so
all about
excited
the
when I saw
booster
that.
gangs. So cool. Actually, Binary Dragon was in chat. He wrote on the bozos in that book.
Yeah.
Clowns.
Yeah, clowns. The bozos are making a comeback into Cyberpunk Red.
Good.
I'm looking forward to the Maelstrom personally.
Yeah, Maelstrom's nice. I just like the fact that we're gonna have classifications for all the gangs, because we're also gonna get Combat Zone real soon from Monster Fight Club. That's coming out real soon. I don't know if you guys have backed that on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that to come out.
Same.
It's so good. I'm really excited for all the product. It felt like Artal had a lot of books in the pipe, and it feels like that's finally starting to come to fruition. You know, like we've been waiting on Black Chrome for a while, and sounds like the other books are hot on the heels, and it's really exciting.
They're really taking it big in the whole quality over quantity thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
I truly wish I could get the Black Chrome right now, but my friendly local game store does not yet have it.
Yeah, that's always a problem. I always have to wait like a month later to get something from my local shop. I mean, I'll wait because I want to support the local shop, you know, but it sucks that I have to wait that long.
What are your guys' favorite items in Black Chrome?
I haven't seen Black Chrome to comment, unfortunately.
All my favorite items are in the general gear section. Because it's just like random stuff with random cool fun rules.
Yeah. I'd say my favorite singular piece is the hoverboard.
Oh yeah, I love the hoverboard.
Oh
man. Yeah, that made an early appearance in one of my games too. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yes. Hoverboard. And I agree, John, the like gear, players who really get to look at the gear and think about creative applications for the gear, those are the players that like will send your game into another dimension. You know, like you'll never understand the tactical advantage that a karaoke machine can have until somebody uses it.
Wait. Hold on, there's a story here.
Oh, we got a story?
I mean,
oh shit. Well, okay. So we put together some Cyberpunk Red rules hacked into Mass Effect. And I wanted to play a character that just used gear primarily. and our GM, who's running our Mass Effect game using the Cyberpunk rules, he allowed me to grab a karaoke machine that had a built-in fog machine as well, and I used that to like misdirect a bunch of bad guys and get them to like basically come out of cover so that we were all in cover when the firefight started and they weren't, and that really helped because we were going to get totally screwed in that fight if we didn't have some good advantage. So just stuff like that, you know, you go through the gears like, oh man, what could I do? How could I use this in creative ways?
Ellie, did you have a favorite item?
Besides the suitcase gyro cup, I honestly think the mono, essentially the yo-yo, just because.
Oh yeah, the monofilament yo-yo thing.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously it's not really a yo-yo, but the thought of like a sort of a character type of a sort of like a melee battle dancer type with the yo-yo just swinging around and all this sort of stuff is really appealing to me.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But you know, it's full of stuff, full of all sorts of goodies. It's a bit hard to just like point at one, besides that one, and just say that's the best one. Because I feel like vehicles and the weapons are really where it really shines. But I do like the thing that makes food out of, you know, I don't know, squirrels and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Squirrels are
Well, I
food.
mean anything really, but you know, it's
you
a
just
funny
put
thought.
stuff in there and it makes food basically. It's like one of those.
Yeah, and it won't take long before a med tech is like, oh man, this is a great way for us to hide all our evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The dark implications here.
Yeah. I mean, I do think you could use it to run a sort of like a cannibal cult hotline in Night City. Because that's the only way you're gonna make food with that thing is with people.
Yeah.
Like, they always have food, just never ask where.
It's veal.
Yeah.
That item
it's veal.
actually
That's right.
gave me the idea for like a nomad upgrade for vehicles that I homebrewed, where it's you can put any like organic material into it and it'll make like very inefficient but possible power, so you could fuel your car with dead bodies.
Yep.
Yeah, well, look,
True
okay.
to his people.
First time, like medtechs. I don't know what it is about medtechs, but I've yet to have like a normal medtech. Right? Like I've never had a player who's like, I'm going to be a medtech and I'm going to be a straight up combat medic. No, God, they're all weird. Every single one. It's like my first med tech was like, hey, this cryo bag puts them into a coma, right? It's like, yeah. So you can like transport them medically to a better facility. You want them in a good stasis.
Oh no!
And they're
I see
like,
where this is going.
Cool. So I'm gonna use this to like grab people off the street. It's like, what?
Kidnap people.
It's like, yeah. I mean, once they're hooked up, they're mine. And I was like, yep, that's what it says. It says that right there in the rules.
It says, you're technically correct. Yeah.
In one of the games I was playing in, we had a tech, and his first invention was to make a drone out of the arms of people we had just killed.
Why are techs and med techs so weird? Please, someone tell me.
Wait, okay.
Style over substance, dude.
That's true. Okay. That's true. Those are the creative classes. Those are the creative classes for sure.
I'm trying to wait a minute. I thought Vi was normal at the very least.
What? No. Okay. Go. You have access to the Legend Keeper. Go back and read her journals, dude. There's nothing normal about Vi.
I don't think I read her journals because they were the character, and I want to keep a little bit of distance, but she wasn't normal.
No. Her uncle was Dr. Weiss.
Oh yes.
She was just as evil under the skin as he ever was.
Wow.
And like it never really made it to the screen, but yeah.
Oh man. Okay, that makes so much sense now.
By the way, we're closing on 4 minutes till end of stream. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. This artwork is absolutely amazing. I don't know what I expected, but I did not expect to be blown away by something as amazing as this. And I'm really proud.
Oh, y'all are great.
I'm really proud of this community. I'm proud of what we've made together, and I'm looking forward to 5,000 more.
Hell yeah!
Oh, I'm sure you'll get it.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, congrats all around, man. This has been such a great journey to be on, and I'm really proud of the channel that you've made here. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, you deserve this, man. You're a cool dude.
Well, we deserve it, and this place is the way it is because of everybody. Everybody here, all of you in the chat, all of you in the Discord that are part of the community. It is a beautiful place to be because of people like you. So thank you for real.
GG's.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for putting this together and having us all on. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe we should do stuff like this more often.
Yeah, maybe we should. You know, this is nice. This is a nice little community event, little chill, wholesome event. You know.
Well, now we know what to do for 6,000.
Yeah, 6,000. Mom, can you join this Discord?
Yes.
Oh man, I can't export this, right? Yeah, there's a export as JPEG. Ooh,
don't accidentally delete it.
That's why. Yeah, I'll share as PNG. Should I try that?
There you go. PNG is probably good.
Share as PNG.
If nothing else, just screenshot it.
Or download.
That's the getter solution.
All right, I got it. It's going in our general chat right now. And it's going to go in our announcements right now. Bam. It's beautiful.
All the emotes.
It really is.
I love it. It's so good. So good. All right, Chooms, thank you so much. Love you all. Thank you to the admin team. Thank you to the community. This was a great event, and I can't wait to see what we have in store for the future.
And thank you, John.
Love you guys. I'm happy to be a part of this. This is one of the most positive things that's ever happened to me. It's a beautiful thing. It really generates more happiness in my life, so I love it. You're gonna make me cry.
No. Gotta hold back the tears.
Gotta hold it back. All right,
end it now.
That's it. We gotta end this stream. We're already gonna cry now.
Later, skaters. Got a jet.
Oh, love it. Enjoy your games. Happy gaming, Chooms. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you guys on